Hey guys, it's Dona Rutowicz and Karin Vickers. I'm here in New York, and Karin, where are you calling us in from?
I'm calling from Golden, Colorado at the Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Yeah, baby, I can't wait to hear about this. All right, we're totally going to get to
hmm
that. I cannot wait to hear about this. But we are here today for our chat. And for those of you who are new to the Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond community, this is an opportunity where we get to chat about love, about life, about celebrations, about struggles, about our personal journeys of where we came from and where we're going. And Karin is a recent graduate of the Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond 12-week rapid transformational program. So we are here post that. So excited. And I'm Dona Rutowicz. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and rapid transformational coach. And what that means for you is that I help you heal your soul fracture. I help you to eradicate those behaviors, like the people pleasing behaviors, the doing things for everybody else except for ourselves, and really draw the line in the sand so we could live our life based on our terms. And Karin, I'm going to let you introduce yourself however you'd like to. Let your DG sisters know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, okay.
It's all you, girl.
I'm Karin Vickers. I'm going to be Karen Morrison. I'm going to change my name once I get back from a concert in January. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I am a New Yorker. I'm from Babylon, Long Island.
Yes,
And
we were neighbors at
yes,
one time.
we were neighbors at one time. I consider myself a New Yorker, even though I've lived in Atlanta longer. I have
Yeah.
three grown children and a amazing 16-month-old grandson.
Oh my god, that picture you
Um,
posted the other day,
I
Karin,
know he
adorable.
is ridiculous. I know
I can't even.
he's
Adorable.
got. You don't even see it. He's got this little gap in front of his front two teeth too. I mean, there's everything about him, and he has been a real joy. Even he was born during COVID, but real joy to our lives. So I've been divorced a few years now. I've been divorced twice. First husband was an alcoholic. Second one was basically a sociopath, and it really made me wonder what I've done. 2 years, two marriages of 14 years. So it
Yeah.
really made me want to look at what my part was all. Granted, I know it wasn't my fault what happened necessarily, but
Yeah.
you really want to look at what that was, and that's how I ended up with you.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. So tell us where you
hmm
are, because this is, before we even
Yeah.
get into talking anymore, this is a huge celebration for Karin, because this
It's
is
a big
something you
deal.
normally would have never done.
No.
And why don't you go ahead and tell everybody your story, where
No.
you are and how you got there?
Yeah. So you can see from my shirt, and I'm
Yes.
sorry I look a little rough this morning because I was out late. I am a deadhead, as I say. I love the Grateful Dead, and I've followed them since I was young. Took some years off with kids, and the last many years I've been traveling and doing not massive, crazy touring, but I go to shows and whatnot. I go to Mexico every year for playing in the sand. But they decided about 2 months ago to play here at Red Rocks. And I don't know if anybody's been to Red Rocks Amphitheater, but it is an amazing location. The acoustics, the environment, just all of it. So I just, without tickets even, I bought a plane ticket, I booked a hotel. I know people here, so I did do that, but I came by myself. And
That's
it's
amazing,
worked out
Karin.
better than I could imagine. It's been
Yes.
great.
That's our
I ended up,
philosophy,
yeah,
right? Our
it's been
philosophy
really
here at
wonderful.
DG, things always work out
Mhm.
for us. They work out better for us. And I'm not minimizing the pain, and I'm not minimizing the struggle of where you've
Mm.
come from and the day-to-day stuff that we handle on a day-to-day basis. But here's the difference. What you're doing, Karin, is you're able to handle it and you're able to enjoy life at the same time,
Yeah,
right? Like,
I feel like I'm making this was a big, and I mean, I have had my moments and whatnot, and I questioned myself maybe 5 or 6 times, even once, because I could have sold it. These were very hard tickets to come by, and through friends and faith, I was able to get really good seats for both nights. I am by myself sitting, but everybody around you is amazing, and it's been an amazing experience. I'm proud of myself for
and
taking the leap.
as you should be, as you
Yeah.
should be. And you're also the model for your family of, listen, when you're ready, it's taking action, because when our inside is right, our outside will follow. And that's the
hmm
number one piece of getting our inside aligned, right? So let's
Yes.
let's go to that, Karin. Let's go to where, like, just your journey of the emotional place that you were in, and and how you came to DG, and then the work that did, the work you're going to continue to do. Why don't we
Yeah.
just kind of talk about that whole journey?
Yeah. As I mentioned, the second husband turned out to be quite a sociopath, and for me, it's different than a lot of the women that I'm on when was with DG. In that
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that he left me or made this decision or anything. I found out he was cheating through the woman he'd been with for 2 years, and that unraveled um, 14 years of lies and whatnot. And it was
Mm-hmm.
devastating for me because he was very good to me. It wasn't that financially, it wasn't about that. It was not typical. And it really wondered if he really loved me, if it was just
Yeah.
part of, because I'm completely convinced he's a narcissist and a sociopath, but in a different sort of way than you would
Yeah. Yeah.
normally see.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just, I really felt this deep brokenness in me and really
Mm.
tried to, and I was searching all over the place for different things. And I continue to evolve and whatnot. But my youngest daughter was graduated from college, was living with me, but she moved out in January. Things, it was just a life change time. And what do I want to do? I turned 60, which is also a big deal. So it really made
And
me
I
want
think
to
that when I
look at
met you
all of it.
too, you was like, it's this, you really want to take your career, right? You have ideas
I
for your
wanted
career.
to, yeah,
Mhm.
or really decide if, how much long I'm going to work, obviously 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years longer. And how much do I want to put into work or do I want to put in my, it was just all these
All these
crossroads. I felt that
unknowns.
are very, very thing. And
Mhm.
I have anxiety. I worry. I still overthink. So there was a lot of things and so much happened to me. I had some health issues as well
Yeah.
prior in the middle of all this. Kidney cancer and a brain tumor, and I'm good. I'm all good, but it was a lot. I had to move, sell my house that we had built together and buy
Yeah.
another house, and just quite a bit. But when I look where I've been, and after the first divorce, I had 3 small children. My youngest was 3, so I've survived and I continue to survive. But I want to survive happier and better and make better
And
choices.
make better choice. Yes. So
Make better
here's
choices.
Rhonda. She loves your deadhead. We have another deadhead
Thank
in the
you.
house.
Yay! Yeah, I'm going to pets.
But I love what you said, Karin, which is, and this is what comes to me, which I think this is I guess one of the integral parts of what we work for at DG is not just to survive. And I know this sounds cliche, like, oh, let's just thrive and not survive. But
Yeah,
I think it's even more than thriving. It's about a coming home to ourself. It's about a grounding in our spirit, in our soul. It's about an alignment. And you know how we say it's not wrong or right, it's not bad or good, it's more of an
hmm,
observation that we get to see, and to really realize where in our life have we not been getting what we want, where in our life have we maybe been tolerating what maybe wasn't really serving us anymore, right? And where in our life have we let the head come in and sort of bully us in a way, right, and not necessarily allow us to live
yeah,
that way that we can. Because what I like to say is our head and our heart, when they're aligned, that's where we get the true transformation. And when we think about like where you've come from, Karin, having to raising a family, going through the health issues, going through the divorces, being successful at work, all of those pieces, that's a masculine energy that we as women, it's not the energy we want to be in, but we're forced to be in it, right? Because that's what we're given, that's what's on our
yeah,
plate. And what ends up happening so many times is we get in this conditioned pattern and belief, and we up here, and we try to use it when we go to the relationship side about healing our soul fracture and possibly opening up our life if and when we're ready to someone else. But
mm,
those tools don't correlate, right? And I know
yeah.
this is something too that you're continuing to evolutionize, you're continuing to be open to. So where are you on that journey? Where are you in the head and the heart and the match? And
Yeah, I'm really trying. I work a lot on staying in the present and not focusing on the past and getting past. I became this sort of victim,
yeah,
rightly so on some level, because it was a tremendous amount of that I went through, and then not trying to worry about the future and just stay in the present
yeah,
and really not overthink, because
yeah.
that's my downfall is the brain takes over and all the which ways and just kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still
Mm-hmm.
continuing to search for certain things and working on mindfulness and meditation um, and different things. I've honed it down. I was a little out there for a while. I've honed it down to a few things
And
more,
that's what
but
I've got to say that to you, Karin. And I really, I have a high admiration and respect for you in that area, is that when you came to DG, you were very honest with me and you said, Donna, there's some things I don't know if I align with, right? I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
align with it. And you were honest with that. And
Hmm.
my guidance to you was you don't have to align with it. Just be open to things, right? Because when you open one door, that door may not be your door, but it's going to lead you to possibly another door that may be, right? And that's how we sort of, I call it a rabbit
Hmm.
trail, where if we just follow the trail, eventually we're going to get to the pieces that align with us. And
Right.
there were many women who would have said, I'm not doing this. I quit. I don't align. And you, even as difficult as it was,
It was hard.
you allowed yourself to move through. You took the coaching, right? You worked with Katie, you
Hmm.
worked with myself. You took the coaching and you said, as difficult as this is, because this doesn't feel like my normal, I'm going to still
Hmm.
move through it. And it doesn't mean you're at your end. Like you said, we're going to
Hmm.
continue to evolutionize, but you did open yourself up to finding tools that work for you, right? And
Yes.
I believe the cleansing of ourselves, the falling in love with ourselves, or the beginning to fall in love with ourselves, and the tools is really what's leading to this, a little bit this lightness in your life, where you're buying tickets to go across the country,
The
right?
country by
Like
myself.
literally, like
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's like, this is what I don't know if women really understand, and maybe we could talk about this. Here at DG, this is a normal activity. Of course, we go across the country. Of course, we buy tickets and we go across the country, because this is what we do. This is our normal now, because we're going to live life. And of course, it's going to work out for us. Like, that's just the way it is. Other people looking in are going to be like, these guys are batshit crazy. They must be off their meds. Like, what the hell are they doing? And I think,
Hmm.
like, this is the part that is, I'm not saying that we should bet the ranch and that we should make
Hmm.
risky behaviors and all of that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, we're missing so much of our life in the past, stuck to what was and the problems that what were. And there's a level of suffering that doesn't allow us to truly live. So what would you say to that? Like, where, kind of what are your thoughts around the suffering part and then the living part, the lightness of life?
Yeah, I think that you have to get through that, that there's some level of dealing with it. So the suffering is important and to go down that road
Yep.
because you can't get to this after that. But then there was a turning point. I've always called myself, we laugh, I'm realistic Rita. Everything
Yes.
has to make sense.
Yeah.
And so for me to let go of that a bit, not that I don't believe in the spirituality out there, I do, but just not sure what that was. And so that's what tripped me up, just
Yeah.
honestly. But I know that there's more to it than just me and the physical pieces here. So it's letting that go and letting my heart lead, and that as opposed to my head, and
Yeah.
not live in this. I had to come out of the victim mode. I was in that for a very long time, but it took a very long time to resolve
Mhm.
certain
Mhm.
things. Even after I found out about his cheating and the divorce was done, I still had like a year and a half of stuff. So now that that's all done and behind me, I feel this lightness and I can move forward.
How does that, like, let's think about the difference of, because you could really, I think there's so much light that for someone who's listening, who is what I consider to be almost like quicksand, right? Those lower
Mm,
level emotions where we're just stuck, where we're suffering, is a level of quicksand, because what happens is you're very acutely aware of what you don't have and you can't seem to get your feet out, right? And take
yeah,
that next step, but yet everybody else around you is moving and going and moving, and you're like, what's
right.
going on? Like, why can't I figure this out?
Yeah.
Right?
And I
So,
had a lot of moments like that where I would
mhm.
sit because I live in this really beautiful house on a lake, small lake. My kids are all doing well.
Yeah.
My job is fine. I'm financially okay. I mean, all these things, but I wasn't happy. And that's so what was that? And what did I
Right.
have to? And that's what it
Right.
came to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's that. So now, how does it feel to have a level of happiness inside?
It feels better. It feels a lot better. Somewhat a little scary, not gonna lie. Some days it's just because it's not the norm of how I've been. I've lived in a crisis mode for so
Yes.
long. Um,
Yes.
Even
Yes.
after during my first marriage, he was an alcoholic. So all that, my kids were little, and then I did kids, and I'm doing three kids that were 9 years in difference in age, and working full time, and keeping everybody in their 43 activities, and then picking colleges, and I've just done this, and all of a sudden it's all done. I mean, the last kid's off my payroll. It's
That cracks me. Last kids off. You're done. Finished. Now you got
I mean,
grandkids on your
literally, I just got her
payroll.
off my health insurance.
Now
So
you got the
I think,
grandkids.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they
And
won't be on your health
but they're
insurance.
not going to be on my payroll. So
No,
I
they
mean,
won't be on
then
your
I have my
payroll.
choices. Yeah,
You'll have,
but
yes.
it's nice. Yeah,
You're gonna
no, I
get to
know.
choose how you're gonna send them the payroll.
Yeah, but it's fine. But it's just a different. I see it in just a different phase. So I'm very appreciative and grateful for what that is. But I can see where I have places, the things to do and learn and grow, and I'm continuing to work forward with it. There is still some things out there that contradict, and so I work through. But I'm open to evolving to that. That's what
And
it
there you
comes
go.
to.
That is the gift, Karin.
Hmm.
Seriously, that's the gift, is the openness. We may not know where we're going or what really is going to align with us, but we're
Hmm.
open. So I think about something. I think about the reason why so many women. Now I've done this. I've touched base with women maybe 15 years later after I spoke to them. When I first spoke to them, let's say they were coming with a struggle or they were kind of going through a difficult phase, and 99.9% of the women that I touch base with that don't either do Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond or do a program similar to it, right, to help them through, 99.9% of the times I'll reach back out and they're either in the same place or a worse place, right? They may have been through another one or two relationships, or maybe they never even got into another relationship and they just kept struggling for those 10 and 15 years. And it's not because they don't have the ability to, but here's what happens. And I want to hear what you think about this too. There's something that's called the human condition, right? And the human condition is we are used to operating in a certain way. Like you said, you were operating in survival mode, you were operating in a critical mode for years. Now,
Yes.
even though it wasn't good for us, we know this, right? Logically, we know this. Even though it wasn't good for us, it became a normal for you. Like many women, like myself, I was in that state for about 10 years in the past. Like I get that. Like it just, and it almost happens insidiously. Like in the beginning, you know, this is not a normal state. And then before you know it, 10 years go by and you look at, you're like, oh my God, my normal state has become abnormal. And my abnormal
Hmm.
state, right, is my normal. And having a community, a mentor, or a group which we could right your ship, but then we could keep you going right. Because what ends up happening is you could right your ship, but if you don't have the right support, the right community, the right mindset, the right friends, what will happen is it will become so uncomfortable, you'll go back to the where you were
Hmm.
because that's what you know. Again, it's not what is good, right? But it's what we know. So what do you think about that? Like what's
Yeah, that's the hardest part because, and I think towards the end of my program, we discussed some of that too, where you start evolving, but you're noticing in people around you that they're still where they are, and do you really want to be there
Yep.
anymore?
Yeah. Isn't that
Um,
interesting, Karin? Like when
hmm.
you
It's
really
very
when you
interesting.
notice it, where you're like, these are still, we're not saying anything bad about people,
No,
but what you notice is they're just at a different vibrational frequency. They
yeah,
see
it's just not
things
aligning
differently.
with
They're not
me. Yeah, it
aligning.
wasn't
Yeah.
aligning with what
Yeah.
I think. So, I've seen myself move away from certain people
Yeah.
or certain situations and gravitate in others, and still with an openness to explore what that could be. From a romantic standpoint, I there's a little piece of me that wonders, but at this age and where I'm at, and I'm not going to compromise. Like, and I hear
This
horror
is
stories, I just can't, and so I'm
no reason to
fine.
compromise. There's
No, and I
nothing to
won't. I
compromise
won't. And
for,
I
right?
did before. I believe that. I mean, my first husband I married at 23, and then the second one, I was coming out of also a mid relationship between the two that wasn't um, really healthy, in my opinion. He ended up stalking me, but it. I'm always looking for someone to fulfill something, and if I do
Mhm.
this, I will feel this. If I do that, it will work, and I'm not doing that anymore. So that's where the
Congratulations.
difference is. That
That's a
I'm
huge difference.
not willing to compromise any of it. So it's a lot to. I know who I am for that part of it, and someone with me would have to love this music because it's a big part of my life. Um,
They got to be willing to get on a plane like that
mhm,
and go and
yeah,
hang out and go.
and
Yeah.
go do stuff. So
Yeah.
and it's we had I don't know 9 or 10 people massed in a Suburban yesterday going to this thing. So I felt we were talking about how we were 18 again. So
That's
just,
life, though.
yeah,
That's
but that's what's fun about it.
life.
So that has to be a
Yes.
part of what I am. Plus, my children and my grandson are very important to me.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it would be amazing to have some type of partner person. There are points of times, yes, I miss having that. I miss a handyman more than anything, but having someone to fix things in the house. But I can hire people for that. But I
Okay, so
do, yeah,
yeah, I just have to pause you for 1 second because
yeah,
everybody who's listening to at this moment, I want you to see what Karen's doing, right? What Karen is doing, and this is the observation point,
hmm
is you know that you're going to be with someone. It's not if, it's when the right, like me, when that time comes, right? If and when that time comes. But what you're doing is you're happy in you.
yep, I'm fine
And
with it the way it
you're
is.
not operating from a handicapped emotional
Mm-mm.
point. So what we end up doing then is we tend to take in people or tolerate behaviors in the past that didn't serve us, only to find out that we just attracted our ex-husband or our ex-partner, or
Yeah,
it's the
and
same
I'm not
type of
doing that again.
relationship, different
Mm-mm.
body, different thing. But what so many people don't see, and this is why I want as the model, Karen, for what women could see as they're watching you, is it's okay to say, I don't know if I want to be with another partner. I don't even know if that's in my thing. And not sure, but I'm loving my life, right?
Yeah.
And my life, and here's what's he's going to have to meet my model of living. I'm not going to have to meet his,
Mm-mm.
right? He's going to have to meet mine. And there's a confidence and a worth and a value in yourself that you are holding, because you know how I say, we're going to hold the bar. People will meet the bar that we hold for ourselves. If we hold our
Mm-hmm.
bar down here, that's what we're going to get. But we hold up a bar here. And so everybody who's listening to this, I want you to really take in what Karen's doing. Life isn't perfect. There are still challenges. There's still things that Karen's learning. There's still her whole, she's got an evolution. But for right now, she's continuing the love in herself, and you're happy and you're living life. You're not letting it stop you. And so
Yeah.
I love what you
Moving
said.
forward.
Yeah, in the past, it would be, well, if someone did this, then I would do this, or if I had this, then I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I could tell you this, Karen, and we could probably talk about this for hours on this part. If you wait to live your life, if you wait to do the work, if you wait to heal your heart, and 10 years are going to go by, right? You're going to be in the quicksand. Your ex-husband's going to do his life. Your family's going to do their life. Your friends are going to do their life. And before you know it, 10 years of your life have gone by, and you're going to look back and say, I just
Yeah.
missed. And I don't, and we're at the age bracket, right? Anywhere between like the 30s and 70s, like in that age. That's most women who are here at DG. Those 10 years, they're too precious to lose.
Agreed. I feel like I've already lost some
Yeah.
time because I was just doing for others. And I don't have regret for all that I put in my children or those type
Yeah.
of things. And I had a good, a lot of the years of my marriage, we did fun things and whatnot. But and I'm not saying I know I never ever say I'm fine with whatever happens, and I'm just going to leave it to the universe to decide
There you go.
what's gonna be.
Same here.
Can't
So by the
can't make it
way,
happen.
so for everybody who's listening, and Rhonda, the Karen who's sitting in front of me right now, when I first met you, that would never have come out of your mouth,
Nope,
ever. And
nope. And
not
I didn't even realize how I had evolved over time until we had a call. I don't know. I was close to the end again, and I made some comment, and I got reached out to by so many going, I see a huge difference
yes,
in this and
I
that. And
remember that call distinctly.
wow, okay. Like I didn't. You live. It's just in small increments. I didn't really see it. But then it really put a light bulb on, and that really was great feedback, and it helped me a lot.
Good. And where are you going? So what's your plans for the future? What do you want to out there to the universe to create, and what are you looking forward to?
I've got I was kind of stuck with my job a bit. I've got an opportunity now. I did reach out with my manager and said I needed something a little bit more, so he's given me a huge project to do. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous, but I've been in the same role for 5 years at this company and doing the same thing. I'm good at it, but I need a challenge. So this is a big
Mhm.
deal. And I'm just gonna, I'm going to Mexico in January for it's called Playing in the Sand, and I've gone every year except for last year because it got canceled for COVID. But I've gone for 5 years and
Are you going to
just
go to
again with new
Mexico
people.
twice? Are you coming to the retreat too? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. So yeah, this is in Cancun as well, and it's a palace resort. It's at Moon Palace, but yeah, so it's a huge, like, 4 nights, 5 days event, and it's in an all-inclusive resort, and it's all deadheads. It's like amazing. So
Holy shit.
doing
This is
that.
amazing. I love it. I'm not even a deadhead, but I'll tell you what, I want to
Yeah, it's
go. This sounds
so
like
fun.
fun.
You have no idea. It's so fun. And the people are just amazing. Everybody's amazing. So I'm so looking for that. And I'm taking some new friends with me who have never been. So that's going to be exciting. It's all good. It's all
You know what?
positive.
It
I
is
have my
good.
condo at the beach that I go to. I'm over Thanksgiving. I'm going for 2.5 weeks. I'm just told the kids I'm going. If you'd love to join me, that's amazing. If you have other plans, that's fine too. And
And
so my mother is coming, but she's staying with my brother for a week. We've got that arranged. So I'm going to work there some, take some time off, and just be there from about the 14th to the 30th. So
so Kimberly wrote, nothing is ever really lost energetically. The most important moment is now. Congratulations on your growth. You are a rock star, Karin.
thank you. That's really
Thank you,
sweet. I
Kimberly.
appreciate that.
So
Thank you, Kimberly.
sweet.
Everybody's been very supportive, and it's been a very long process. But I recognize that there's still things I never got through all the modules in complete disclosure. But with work and all the other things, I get myself a little thin sometimes. I'm in a book club and I have another women's group, and I see my grandson 2 days a week. So
And you know my
just
philosophy
balancing
when
it
it
out.
comes to modules.
Yeah,
You're going to
I'll
go
do
through
them as
them
I
when you
can.
can. And we're not in a race,
No.
right? There's no one we're comparing ourselves to. But what I also want to point out to you, Karin, is people don't realize that when we're stuck in ourself, when we're operating from a soul fracture point, it inhibits us from moving in life because we're so overwhelmed by the emotion, right? Where I don't know if you felt this, but I felt this. Like I would be so tired. I would
Hmm.
just have no energy. I could barely manage what I had, let alone take on more. Right. And so I wasn't really moving and moving forward. I was just kind of staying in the same space.
Well,
And when we're
overthinking is exhausting.
and over it is over.
Overthinking is it's exhausting.
It's you might as well just plug yourself in, and it's like I
Hmm.
would say, I used to joke to my kids, right? What are you, like, air conditioning the outside? You might as well just open
Yeah.
up all the windows, and it's just this energy that's being expended, but it's not going anywhere and it's not making
Mm-mm.
any impact. And
Mm-mm.
once you clear that, and this is not about information, I want to be very clear to whoever's listening. This is about the transformation because we're transforming from the inside out, right? We're transforming the subconscious. This is not just about woo-woo stuff, right? It's
Mhm.
really the transformation of the subconscious. But when you clear that out, just like we do a cleanse when we eat something, it's like it's almost like a spiritual cleanse in ourself, right? It's this cleanse that we're getting rid of that bad energy, that bad juju, just that bad shit that's been running in our system. We now have energy that could stay with us. We now have energy that's available to us, and we now have energy that we could use to be open to these opportunities, like going to this concert, going to
Mhm.
Mexico, showing up and saying, you know what, I've been at this position at work for 5 years. I'm ready for a new challenge. I'm ready for something new.
Mhm.
We could never do that if we're stuck and we're miserable and we're sad and we're just surviving, right? Clearing out that old energy allows us to bring in the new energy, and now we get to live life on our terms,
Yeah.
right? And we get to, and like you said, learning how to hold those boundaries where we're kind but we're not nice, meaning with your family, hey, listen, I'm going to be in Florida, I'm going to be here, would love to have you, please come. If you can't, that's okay too, because I'll be there. But in the past, it would have been trying to manage everyone's schedule. Okay,
Yeah.
this person could go here, this person could go then. Nope, this person can't do this date. Nope, this person can't. And
You
before
drive
you
with
know it,
who and do
you could
this.
drive with who,
Nope.
right? Before you
Mm-mm.
know it, it's a fucking nightmare. Excuse my
It is.
language, right? It
Okay, but it
becomes
is.
a nightmare. And one of the things that we learn here at DG is that family is very important to us. It's actually probably one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. And we're also important, and we're no longer going to go around trying to put the pot on everybody's, or the top on everybody's lid, right? The lid on their teapot, trying to make sure that everybody's taken care of. And guess who gets taken care of first now? Us. Lovingly.
Yes.
We're not doing anything mean to our families, but we're holding the
Mm-mm.
boundary. And again, you know what I find fascinating about this, Karin? I believe it doesn't matter if kids are 3 or 53. Kids like structure. And when you give them the structure and you say, here's what it is, period, everybody will move around to meet that. And the ones who can't. Like, it just is what it is. But then you'll see them another time. But at the end, you're happy, right?
Yeah,
You're getting
I just
to,
can't do that. I think some of the women will remember that over July, I dipped into the old practice, and we were trying to coordinate this trip to New York, to Long Island, to see my mother and
yeah,
other family, and the nightmare that went on of who's staying where, and a cat, and all sorts of stuff. And after I came back from that, and then my mother got COVID, it was a whole thing.
yeah.
So I realized I'm not doing this anymore, and that's when I decided I'm going to go for Thanksgiving, and love to have you all come figure it out. Like, you're all adults, figure it
Very
out.
good. So, Karin, what would you say to the woman who's watching? Because I believe these conversations, there's going to be someone who needs to hear you, right? Your journey, where you're coming from, and they're going to be scrolling through Facebook. It's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to be, in that space where, let's look at the model of what they would probably look like, right? They would be someone who's successful at work. They've got their job, they've got their family, they've got most of that life in sort of control, but it's this relationship thing with themselves. It's this relationship thing with, do I really want another person or not? But then what they also struggle with is the head, right? That overthinking, the ruminating thoughts. And because things become so overwhelming, they don't take action in their
Right.
life. So what would you say to her? What would you say to her to give her a little bit of your wisdom? And
So I've lost sound.
oh, we lost Karin right before the wisdom part. Let's see. Don't you love technology? There she is. Can you hear us, Karin?
I lost sound.
I can hear
I
you.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
I can't hear you
Okay, hold
anymore.
on 1 second.
I'm going to go out and come back in one more time.
But while we're waiting for Karin, technology could work so beautifully when it works, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. But it was funny because before Karin and I were getting ready to kind of come on to this Facebook Live today, one of the things that we were reminiscing about is Karin's growth in where she came from and where she is today, and the ability to really manage her life. Karin, you're there? Can you hear us?
Now you're really slow. Super weird.
Well,
All
this,
right, there you are.
you good?
All right. I think you asked me what would I tell somebody if they were coming. So I don't, for me, I feel like was a little different in some of this, whereas I'm a little bit with my age, because some were younger, but what had happened to me and whatnot doesn't fit the normal, a lot of the things you see about relationship and divorcing and whatnot. I didn't have a midlife crisis husband, I don't think. All those things were wonderful, but I had to get to me. I had to find me again. I had lost me.
Yeah.
In all the stuff that's happened, I've lived in this entire place of just being for other people.
Mm.
And I finally realized that I have to do for me. So I'm not where I'd like to be yet. I know I have work to do still. I'm very slow at this. I recognize that, but it's okay.
It's okay.
You have to find out what works for you and what resonates for you so that you can move forward and not get stuck in the old patterns of thinking.
Yep. Yep. And I'm just going to put here, because you said something that, let's see if I could put it in the chat here. If it doesn't go in the chat, but it's the I found me. I love me and I found me. All right. Well, I'm going to remove Karin. And what we're going to put here is what Karin said, right? Is this I love me and I found me, that you found you. Can you hear that, Karin?
I'm hearing you in slow motion, so I'm
All right.
really
Well,
can't answer because I can't hear anything other than you sound like a man going in really slow motion, unfortunately.
all right. So I'm going to remove Karin from the stream. And it's not, I think when these things happen in the past, it would literally freak me out. I would get so nervous and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Like, what's going on? And what I found to be true is, if you notice what Karin said right before she was going in and out of the stream, she said that she still has some work to do, which we do, and that she's taking it slow. And it's quite interesting that her internet stream, right, how she's saying it, is slow. So I believe that we have these messages from the universe, and and the day-to-day stuff. These are the messages. These are the God winks. These are the little guides that are with us, that are alongside of us. But if we are stuck in our own head, if we're stuck in fear, if we're stuck in what was or what could have been or what should have been, this is where we're not able to really see those little guides and those little moments of synchronicities and these little moments of miracles, because we're looking in the wrong direction. And that's not why you were created. That's not why you're a divine child that was created to live on this earth the best life that she could live. And just because you had a roadblock, and I'm not minimizing, I want to be very, very clear here. I'm not minimizing your roadblock. I'm not minimizing the pain that you went through. But you could either fight for your pain or you could fight for your liberation, right? And the pain is conditioned. The thoughts that we have that keep us stuck to the past, these are conditioned patterns and belief. This is the reason why we do the work here at DG, so we can get rid of the old conditioning and put in the new conditioning. So if you, like Karin, and it doesn't matter if if you've seen these Facebook lives that I've done in the past, these are real people. These are real friends of mine, clients who have become friends, who have become sisters. These are my family. These are current clients and graduated clients through the Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond program. And this is their personal journey. If they could do it, so could you. If I could do it, so could you. So there is hope for you. You could 100% have the life that you want, but you've got to become the woman who's going to be able to create it. We've got to get rid of that lower level vibrational frequency of energy, put that aside so we could actually see, right? And Kimberly was saying, this time is a turning point in your freedom because you're more at peace with you. This is it. When we're at peace with ourselves, this is the turning point within us, that we could love me, that we could find me. So what I'm going to do here, this is again the I love me, I found me. I love that Karin said that. And below this Facebook Live, below this video here in Facebook, I'm going to put a link to book a breakthrough call. And if you're ready to do the work, if you're ready to step up, if you're ready to get a hold of your life and no longer be living like knowing that there's a piece of your life that's severely handicapped, is not living to the fullest potential that you know it could be, we're coming up to a wonderful time of year. Just, we're coming up to the new year. We have holidays times coming up, and this is the time where we could really get to work. So come December, January, February, March, we're already way ahead of everybody else. So there'll be a link to book a call with me. Go ahead and book a call with me. And it basically is this link. Which is donarutowicz.com/apply. And this, it will be come up in a second. We have a little slow internet connection. If you want to book a breakthrough call with me, this is how you do it. Just go to www.donarutowicz.com/apply. And then you and I are going to hop on the phone. We're going to see where you're at. We're going to look at what's not working. We're going to look at what's working. And Kimberly, yes, Kimberly stepped up. Kimberly is in Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond. And she is so grateful to be living my best life unstuck. Love you, Donna, and all you do. And Kimberly, I love you too. Right back at you. I'm right back at you. We are sisters. We are connected by divine source. And I'm so glad that we're together. And if you want to become a DG sister, if you're ready to do the work, get unstuck, book a call with me. And other than that, I'll see you guys later. Mwah! Have a great weekend. Bye.